Coming up on All About Android, it's the three of us, Jason Howell, Ron Richards, Florence Ion. We talk about how Cyberpunk 2077 is Stadia's time to shine. We also say goodbye to the Google Home Max. I actually review the Urbanista London's earphones. Flo reviews the Lenovo Smart Tab M10 HD. Oppo has a concept phone that folds like 6 or 7 times. We have your email and more next on All About Android. All About Android is brought to you from LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure that they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Mint Mobile. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Android. And by LastPass. Don't wait until the end of the year to get strong security. Start solidifying your cybersecurity strategy with the award-winning LastPass today. Go to lastpass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. Hello and welcome to All About Android, episode 503, recorded on December 15th, 2020, your weekly source for latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Florence Ion. Hi, guys.
What's up?
Happy holidays,
y'all. I know. This is like our last episode before our best of. Next week, we will not be doing a live show, but you're going to get some moments and stuff, which basically means, whoa, it's the end of the year, which basically means it's like Christmas and the holidays, and what a year it's been. And I kind of can't believe that like in a few weeks, it's going to be 2021. It's kind of
so I panicked a little because we're not doing any. We're going to do look back after Christmas, right? The week of New Year's, we'll look back. Okay, yeah, all right, good.
Yeah,
I was not prepared to look back on the year.
Yes, this year is a little weird. Normally, in past years, the TWiT studio is dark between Christmas and New Year's, and maybe like Christmas Eve or whatever. But because it falls on a Friday, both Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on Friday, kind of threw things off a little bit. So we do have one more episode before the end of the year. That is 2 weeks from now. Sounds like, Flo, you won't be here for that, but we do have Mateo joining once again. It's been a while since we had Mateo on. So Mateo's going to be here for kind of the end of year roundups, and should be a lot of fun.
That will be fun. And that makes sense because Mateo and Flo had a falling out, and so they can't be on the show together anymore.
Sure.
So that's good.
I mean, guys, I'm running out of deodorant, and it's all Mateo's fault. He won't get on a plane and risk his life to help my underarms.
But so Flo, that means you'll miss the look back on the year, but you'll also miss the
I also miscalculated this year's holiday vacations and just like when time is off. So that's my bad. But as a result, I guess that makes today my last episode.
It does.
Your last. Well, for the year.
And the key thing is you're also going to miss the CES preview that we do every year right before CES, as I'm sure you're going to Vegas. Everyone is descending on Las Vegas for CES 2021, right?
Oh, totally.
Actually, guys,
that's happening, right?
Since we're on that topic, I'm actually thinking about signing up and just doing the online CES, because all I have to do is just show up to like Zoom meetings, and they're doing a lot of like press events where it's just like rapid fire. And I think it would actually be kind of an interesting experience just to kind of like be a part of this online CES, like it's like how we were doing all the online keynotes and the online launches that we did this year. I mean, why not do CES as well?
Who knows? This might be good practice because maybe CES is online forever now going forward. Probably not, but maybe. And if it is,
part of me hopes not. Because it really is a good opportunity to like everybody universally get somewhere every year, all the people in the tech industry. And it's just a good like meeting of the minds, even though it's maybe highly problematic for many, many reasons. But at the same time, it's nice to have a little bit of break because we've just been through so much this year as it is. So this feels like a break that is much warranted, much needed. So
totally. Well, I was just thinking, like, I don't, obviously this year CES is virtual. Next year, like, I'm kind of feeling like the winds are blowing in the direction of CES being in person again with the, all the vaccine news and everything like that. But can you imagine, because often CES is kind of like accompanied with a deep eye roll by people who go every year, because it's just like, oh my God, I am not looking forward to CES. Probably the next one that you can go to, everybody's going to be jumping at the opportunity just to get the social aspect that we've been missing.
I have never wanted to be in a smoky Vegas club so bad before.
Just more than now.
And not necessarily because it's like something that gives me comfort or anything like that. It's just that there's something about it that's just very normal in my life. And
normal.
Because CES and Vegas is right next door to us. So here in the Bay Area. So it's, I guess I'm looking forward to it, guys. I have to admit it.
Well, you're going to have to wait because this time around it's virtual.
Yep.
So tell us how it goes, those Zoom meetings. Yeah,
I will. I figure somebody should step up to the plate and endure.
Thank you. Thank you for being that somebody. All right. We've got some news to talk about, so let's do it, Burke. It's time for the news.
All About Android subscribers get free Android news. Thanks for subscribing.
That's true. Our news is free. But you want to see our terms and conditions because, there's some stuff in there you just want to know.
Yeah, that's where we get you. Yeah.
That's where we get you.
Well, for anybody watching the video feed, I just made a face because I was adjusting my lights. But now that they're adjusted, kind of, as I'm doing this in the midst of talking, let's talk about some free stuff that Google's giving us. Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves free stuff, especially in an economic downfall. So the first free thing that we're getting is Google has been offering a free Stadia Premier package with pre-order and purchase of the much lauded / much hated game Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia. Oh my God, so much news around this release.
Everybody's talking about Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Everybody's kvetching about it loudly, and with reason. So this offer was actually meant to last through Friday, December 18th. So this week, we're filming this recording on the 15th, but it actually ended early on Sunday, December 13th, due to overwhelmingly positive reception, quote unquote. So apparently, this is kind of the biggest that Stadia is, the biggest sort of hullabaloo that Stadia has had around it. It's kind of, this is a big proving ground for people that are opting in for Stadia over other consoles, even though Cyber 2077, again, Cyberpunk, whatever, has a lot of negative press around it right now, but yet, and maybe that's why people are flocking to Stadia for this title, because if it's bug-ridden, why invest in a console for it?
It sounds like people are finding the Stadia version to be the better version from a stability standpoint, from bugs. And, if you have older hardware like PS4 or last generation Xbox, some of those, those versions of Cyberpunk 2077 are apparently kind of glitchy. What I thought of when I saw that they were ending this early due to, like you said, overwhelmingly positive reception is, Google, what are you doing? Not because I think that Google needs to give away all their stuff, but they've been waiting for a year for Stadia to find some buzz. And now suddenly they have it. And if they can create even more buzz by sticking to it, and I realize they probably had a certain number of, a certain amount of stock to throw at this promotion and they blew through it. So then they canceled it. But I kind of feel like, based on how kind of poorly received Stadia has been for a year, when it finally gets its chance in the spotlight, and arguably with one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of this year, like, you hop on that, you continue, you follow through to the end on that, because all those people are going to end up having the system to buy more games and the experience that apparently is very good with Cyberpunk 2077. So I don't know why they stopped it early. They probably had a good reason, but
my question was similar to that, which was, okay, great. I understand that the free promotion was great, where buzz gets out there that you want to play Cyberpunk, play it on Stadia, go get this free thing. Has this translated into Stadia sales independent of the free thing? Has there been enough momentum? And you're right, and that ties into your point, which is like, where is the promotion? Where is the okay, yes, they're not free, but here, get one for half off, or get a free month trial or 3-month trial, whatever it is. Where is the capture for the rest of the people who didn't get the free offer, who still want to play it on this platform?
Yeah.
Right. Because it's one thing for gamers to take advantage of a free offer, but are they taking advantage of a superior experience? And like, man, I did not see Cyberpunk being this Stadia killer app, but here we are. So it's how are they going to convert this into people staying on the platform?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, be interesting.
Speaking of staying on a platform, one platform I've been on for a while is YouTube TV, and now I'm being rewarded for staying around for so long that now I'm paying a bunch of money I wasn't planning on spending. Now, YouTube TV is gifting a Chromecast with Google TV to longtime subscribers. If you haven't paused or canceled between June 1st, 2018 to December 10th, 2020, then you'll be getting this little email in your inbox, and you have until December 31st to claim it. I've already claimed mine. I've already gotten the shipping notification, and I'm looking forward to putting it upstairs so that I can continue making use of my exorbitant YouTube TV subscription.
So yeah, I got my email, and I'm pretty sure I claimed it in about 30 seconds because I didn't believe it. I was just like, let me do this now quickly. Yes. And I'm looking forward to playing with it. Free is always the best price tag for these sort of things. And what's great is that now I can gift my Chromecast, my Chromecast HD. I'm going to give it to my sister so she can watch 90210 on Pluto TV, and I might consider replacing the NVIDIA Shield with this. Maybe we'll see. I'll do a YouTube TV with Chromecast, Google TV versus YouTube TV on Shield kind of comparison, and we'll see how it looks. But I'm definitely looking forward to this because my key requirement now is a remote control and easy navigation, so my wife can very quickly put on whatever one of the little ones is screaming for. So that's what we need. So
is your NVIDIA Shield, Ron, is that being used for your Plex server? And will this allow you to put a Plex server on it? Oh, okay. All right.
No and no. My Plex server is on my Mac Mini desktop, and so I never put it on the NVIDIA Shield. I know you can, but
that's what I do.
I was already set up on the desktop, so I just connected to that one. So
I would feel more secure putting it on a computer, just personally, how I feel about Plex.
But a Shield is a computer.
True. Okay, fine. A more traditional standard idea of a your heteronormative
definition of a computer.
Well, at the very least, I mean, you get that little Chromecast with Google TV. You can access Plex no problem in the house. Right. I'm probably going to end up putting my second one. This will be my second one in the bedroom. I really want that remote functionality for the TV to be able to turn it on and off. I hate having to have the remote and the phone. So anyway, this is good news all around. So everyone check your inboxes.
Check your inbox, but not Google inbox because that was killed a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Well, speaking of being killed, if you didn't tune in last week and saw our good friend of the show, Cody Ogden, creator of KilledByGoogle.com, it was a great interview. Go back and watch it. But it looks like we have yet another entry for KilledByGoogle.com as the Google Home Max is nearing its end of life. In fact, it's probably at its end of life. Google confirmed that it's not manufacturing the Home Max anymore. And you might remember the Home Max came out in 2017 for $399. It's a big old fat Google Home speaker type thing.
It's big.
And it's currently, so they're not manufacturing anymore. It's currently sold out in the Google store. Although you probably can find it online for around $180. So there's still some stock out there. And Google said they will still be supporting it with updates and security fixes. And Google points people to the alternative: buy 2 Nest Audios and pair them for a similar sound, which no one will do. So, well, I mean, some people might do, but the masses are not. Yeah.
I have to say, my co-host on Material, Andy Anatko, has done that. So he's done a lot of pairing.
Right. And with all due respect, a ton of respect for Mr. Anatko, a legend in our industry, not a normal user. the average Joe user is going to buy a speaker and plug it in and use it, and the time it takes to figure out to buy two Nests and pair them and figure all that out, the population of people who do that will be minimal, but that's probably the population that wasn't buying the Home Max anyway, and that's why they're not manufacturing it anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of
well, time to also say goodbye to that auxiliary input. So sorry guys, if you wanted that, you're gonna have to go some other route.
But clearly, no one wanted it. If no one was buying it, like, again.
Well, it's also this is a device that was 3 years old, so it's certainly seen its day in the sun as far as Google products are concerned.
Right, and I'm addressing our audience, which I feel is the folks who would care about the input. Isn't that right, audience?
Sure.
Hey, we talk about headphone jack all the time. It's kind of similar story.
It's true. You mentioned a headphone jack on this show, and you're bound to get a lot of
Flo just did the podcast equivalent of saying hello Cleveland, great to be here.
You've been a wonderful audience. Good night. I loved the Google Home Max when I was borrowing it from Leo to review it. I really enjoyed it, and so the part of me is like hoping that somewhere along the line, the remaining stock of these is going to be deeply discounted, and I'll get lucky and get like a Home Max for like $100. But that's not going to happen. That's a fantasy of mine.
They kind of already did that though. They were getting rid of them for I think like $199 or $150, some exorbitant price drop from the day they came out. But you snooze, you lose.
I was looking around. I also saw one store in my shopping results on Google that was doing a buy one get one free of Google Home Max, but it's at the $300 price. So pay $300, get two, which many stores are now selling it for $170. So that's still a better deal, but then you have to ask yourself, do I need two of these beasts? Because they're big.
Yes, you need one for left and you need one for right.
Oh, okay. A huge boom in Macs on both sides. By the way, Killed by Google is updated now. Last week when Cody was on, 220 total products. Now it's 221. And Google Home Max is the top result of the actual dead products. So there you go. They are fast updating that site. And then we have Samsung, which just by the way, apparently January 24th is the date. It's confirmed, sort of. So maybe confirmed is the wrong word. Basically, a Samsung Mobile Experience Store in India has confirmed this date to Android Authority and then again to Sam Mobile. But Samsung itself has not announced the event. So take from that what you will. The long and short of it is that, yes, this time around, the S21, the next generation of Samsung premium smartphones, is moving up to January. Basically, they've timed it with the last day of the virtual CES, if this date is to be believed. So Thursday, January 14th would be the launch date for that. And then just some other, bits and pieces. Ice Universe on Twitter said the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor in these devices is almost 2 times larger than the previous models. So that doubles the unlock speed as well. He says you don't even need to press it. You just tap to unlock. That's nice because that's been a huge kind of complaint of mine. I expected the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor to be better than the optical one. And, the OnePlus has the optical one, and that's probably my favorite in-display fingerprint sensor, comparatively speaking. So if that's improved, that's great. Also, an FCC listing for the S21 was located. It confirms the Snapdragon 888, which is the latest generation of the Snapdragon processor on that. It was only for one model number technically, so maybe it's just for one device. We don't really know, but also confirmed no charging brick in the box. And then if you're interested, some of the teaser videos for the S21 series have leaked. So we're in prime leak territory as far as the S21 family is concerned, and I'm sure we'll see more. I promise you we won't talk about every single leak, but always a Samsung flagship, leading up to a Samsung flagship, it's always a story that people care about because Samsung's a pretty big deal.
I feel like the rumors are always worth talking about though, because they're always interesting. Yeah. And by the time we get to the event, there's no more mystery.
We just don't care. Yeah. Oh, and I should also mention, I didn't put in here more and more confirmation pointing to the fact that the Ultra S21 Ultra is going to have the S Pen embedded. So, we've mentioned on the show a number of times now, but the Note series gone, and the S21 Ultra would be the Note equivalent, essentially.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Killed by Samsung.
Yes, exactly. Oh, there's a site you should start. You'd have a lot of homework to do to launch that, though, because there's been a lot of.
I don't have the time or the money.
That's true. Is it worth it? I don't know if it's worth it. Let's take a break. Thank the sponsor, and then we will get into some hardware reviews. We've got 2 reviews for you today. But first, this episode of All About Android is brought to you by Mint Mobile. I use Mint Mobile. My wife uses Mint Mobile. We love Mint Mobile. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. That's right. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. Not bad. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you safely order from home, which is really nice right about now. And then maximize your savings with plans starting at just $15 a month. Of course, I've been using Mint Mobile now for, how long has it been? I guess it's been about almost 2 years. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. And definitely before any of these holiday deals, it's the perfect time to switch. If you have the opportunity to do 3 months and then get 3 months for free, you might as well hop on it. Mint Mobile has been just an excellent service for me, especially I have to say in the pandemic where I've been so homebound and not roaming around there. For me, like paying for unlimited data is kind of, at least in my usage, unnecessary because I'm home so often. And so Mint Mobile's pricing, kind of combined with me being home and using it when I need it has just been perfect. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year for a limited time: buy 3 months, get 3 months free. And Mint Mobile is able to do this because they've eliminated the costs of retail that most other of the places that you go, they have to pay for that retail space. That's just one of many different traditional costs that they have to pay for. Mint Mobile doesn't have to do that. It's all online, so they pass that savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Of course, you can bring your own phone or you can buy it through Mint Mobile, but any phone can be paired up with Mint Mobile's plan. You can keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Just port that over. That's what I did. And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile will have you covered. They have a 7-day money-back guarantee. So switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free. All you got to do is go to mintmobile.com/Android. That's mintmobile.com/Android. Do that, and you'll see that you can cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month. mintmobile.com/Android. We thank them for their support of All About Android. All right, we've got some reviews to do. It's reviewing time in hardware. Flo's got the first review, and I'm very curious about this because I, a couple of years ago, remember on the show, bought a Lenovo, I can't remember the model number, but a Lenovo tablet for my youngest daughter. And it was great for her for a couple of years. And then she kind of grew out of it. Then she wanted to play more demanding games. And so I upgraded the tablet. So I'm curious about the one that you have.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because I mean, this is something that I'm thinking about in the next couple of years with regards to Mona. And so I really appreciate Lenovo sort of sending this over so that I can get a look at it. Now, I apologize. I no longer have my cool little camera setup. I'm trying something new for 2021. So I'm gonna hold it up, talk about it a little bit, okay? So this is a $130 tablet. It's sold at Walmart and a lot of other places. This is the Lenovo Smart Tab M10 HD, 2nd gen. Now, those are with Google Assistant. Now, it's important that you keep all of that in mind because there is a version that just has Amazon's Assistant on it. There is another version. There's a couple different versions of this, but this is the Smart Tab M10 HD, 2nd gen with Google Assistant. Inside this thing, it's got a MediaTek Helio P22T, which is not really a processor that you hear a lot about, and you'll understand why when I talk about performance. 2 gigs of RAM in this model that I've got here in my hand, although it's available up to 4 gigabytes, 16 gigs of storage with a micro SD slot available. There is also up to 64 gigabyte available if you want to pay the extra money. 10.3-inch 1280 by 600 resolution display. It's also got USB-C charging, which I really appreciate. And it comes with this really nice charging dock. So I'm just going to show you the dock here on camera. You can kind of see it. It just rests nicely on the table. But this charges by micro USB. So you get 2 cords in the box. And this is buried underneath the tablet. But I have to say that when it's all together, it does look really nice. Let's see if I can do this just to kind of show you. That's upside down. Never mind. Here we go.
Don't do it that way.
This nice little right here. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Like that.
Nice.
So let's talk about a couple other little things. Design. Now, this tablet weighs less than a pound, not even a pound. It is super light. It's pretty straightforward tablet, though. It's just a nice black tablet with a slightly slate gray back that looks very dark in my photo. Now, this reminds me a lot, actually, of the Nexus 9, but it's so much lighter than the Nexus 9, and it's made by Lenovo, not HTC. Now, there are enough bezels around the edges to kind of like have something to hold on to if you're reading or watching something, but they don't, they kind of add a little buffer between your hands and the screen. At the top is a 5 megapixel camera, good enough for just your standard Google Duo, or it's pretty much just good for Google Duo. That's it. It's also got facial recognition. So if you want to unlock using your face, you can. Kind of a cool thing, especially since this tablet is kind of geared towards kids. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. 8 megapixel camera on the back. You've got this guy right here. Again, nothing to write home about. At the bottom, as you saw, there are magnets. How do they work? They work with the dock. So when you put the dock on there, it kind of seats it nicely. And I will say it was seated in there well enough that Mona wasn't able to knock it off. Because she definitely saw it, came over, started pawing at it. But not enough for her little baby hands, I guess, to knock it over, which was kind of nice. And again, it's for kids, so something to keep in mind. There's also a headphone jack. That's here. Yay. You can just plug in a pair of headphones. Now, just in terms of design, this is all Android tablets need to be. Just something nice and simple, easy, light. Now, the display has a really nice color ratio. Gosh, I should have been a little more prepared with maybe a wallpaper or something to show you. I'll tell you, there's about an 87% screen to body ratio on this. So good color and good ratio overall. Laptop Magazine reviewed this a couple months back. Actually, they reviewed a slightly different model, but they measured that model's display at about 99% of the sRGB color gamut. So, I guess I could. Photos look as they were taken. Oh, you cannot see through my webcam what this looks like. That just looks awful. Don't go by my webcam. Now, the display is not very bright compared to a couple other tablets on the market, like the Amazon Fire tablets, Fire HD, I don't know their names, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. Audio on this thing is pretty good for watching TV. I watched some YouTube TV today on it, and I could hear dialogue very clearly. Action sounds, if you want to watch something with action and you want pure sounds, watch it on a big screen. That's my suggestion. Performance. If 2 gigs of RAM worried you when I mentioned it earlier, you have lots of reason to be worried because this thing it can be really slow. I'll tell you, last night I was trying to do some Christmas shopping through the Nordstrom Rack site on Google Chrome, and it was so slow that I just kind of gave up and just did it on my phone because there was just no point. Sometimes the touch mechanism is really slow, which can be really frustrating. Apps like Adobe Spark, they ran, and I could go in and change fonts and things of the sort. But when it was loading, gosh, it would take like a really long time. It was really frustrating. So I don't know if this is something that you would game with, which might be a concern if you're thinking about it for the kiddos. The battery life, I didn't get such a good feel for it just because I had it docked a lot. But some reviews have said that this tablet can last up to 9 hours. Now, most tablets in this price range typically last between 12 and 13 hours. So just something to keep in mind. That's kind of the benchmark that you're looking for a tablet of this price range. Now, this tablet shipped with Android 9 out of the box, but I updated it and it now has Android 10. So it's still one version behind where we are now. Now, the big sell here is the ambient mode and the kid mode. The ambient mode is a little bit like the smart display, although it doesn't pop up quite the same. You kind of have to go into the settings and do a little trickery to get it to work. It does work if you turn on the assistant voice command. So something to keep in mind. It's kind of a 2-for-1 if you know somebody who doesn't already have a smart display or a smart speaker. There's also a kids mode, which I will tell you is called Kid Space. And there, my finger's backwards. And there's a little icon. It looks like a little twisty dreidel sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can't log into it because it wants me to create an account for Mona, and I just don't think she's quite that age that I want to do that right now. So I didn't go through the whole process, but I read a couple of quick reviews on it, and it's from Google. So it's Google's version of Android for kids. And so that's something that you can set up, and that's sort of what the tablet is really geared for. And that'll just kind of give you a launcher with like games and teach-friendly, I think it's called teach-friendly apps, videos, books, things of the sort. I think for a tablet like this, that's a really good sell, but the 2 gigs of RAM really worries me. Kids know if something is slow, especially in this day and age. And if you're getting kind of a so-so performance out of a tablet and you want to give kids something that's really like graphic heavy and lots of, movement, you want to get something that can make that happen for them. But overall, if what you're looking for is just a cheap tablet, maybe you want to do some reading, you just want to do some YouTube TV watching in bed, it's $150. That's as much as like a cheapo TV that you would just get, off the rack at Target or whatever. So, think about it as that. It's it's a $150 tablet. Do I wish I had a little bit more RAM? Yes. Do I think that you should maybe throw a little more money to get something that is a little more powerful if you want to buy this for the kids? Yes. But if you wanted to get this for maybe a parent or somebody who just isn't like super techie, but maybe wants to work with the assistant a little bit and wants to do a little reading and watching TV, again, $150. So if you're thinking about it, it's sold at Walmart. It's sold by Lenovo, and might be something that you add last minute to your cart. And actually, just to say, it's $130 starting price. So
it's safe to say this is like a non-power user device.
100%. I'll probably end up using this for a bit until I send it back, just like read. Again, the display on it is really good. I didn't mind the color scheme. It has like the night mode situation, which really helps. And I use Moonreader Pro, which I get unlocked with my Play Pass subscription. And I like that because it has all these different night modes. So there's customization options that you can do to sort of work with what is inside the tablet. But again, it's $130. So you're getting what you're paying for.
The vibe that I get from hearing you talk about this and kind of seeing the promotional photos and the way that the dock works is maybe less that this is a tablet that's designed to be a kid's tablet. The vibe that I get is this is designed to be a smart display that can also be used as a tablet if you really want to do that. Like some of the smart displays that release, like they're literally like fixed into the mount, right? All their entire purpose is to be that assistant smart display sort of thing. And this can do that, But then you can remove it and do some of the extra tablet-y stuff if you really want to. It's not the best at it. It's not going to excel at being a tablet, but you can do it if you really want to. And that kind of seems to me what the strength of a device like this is. 2 gigs of RAM is nothing. I mean, anyone's going to run into issues with 2 gigs of RAM nowadays. That's just too low.
I mean, it couldn't even load the Nordstrom Rack website, which is just ridiculous on Chrome. It would just take forever to load all. And I know that the way like the web is coded now, everything is being dynamically loaded. And so if your tablet can't do that, it gets really frustrated. I understand that sell, because that's kind of how it was pitched to me, as like, this is a smart display / tablet situation. But if it's for kids, I want something that's a little more speedy, something a little more functional. Because I'm happy with what I have with the kids mode in the smart displays now. So I don't know. You could also think about it as like a picture frame. Maybe you want to buy like an assistant enabled picture frame. But again, how's that any different from a smart display?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So kind of a couple of things to think about there.
For sure.
It's $130. And you know what? Just to end on one other note, I think this might be a little bit better than what you would get with like an On tablet, which is the house brand of Walmart. So
yeah, I was doing price searching on.
You mean it's on no.
Yes, on no.
Yeah.
I think probably so. Cool. That's the Lenovo Smart Tab M10 HD 2nd gen. It's a mouthful, but there you go. With Google Assistant.
Because remember, there's an Amazon version.
Yeah, that's good to know. All right, so that is one of 2 reviews. I have another review. I'm going to belt this out here real quick for you guys. So we've actually had a decent amount of wireless earbuds on the show lately. Flo, last week, you showed off. What were your wireless buds? They were the Aki EPN5.
Yes.
Few months back, I was contacted by the folks at Urbanista, which was a brand that I wasn't very familiar with when I got the email. But I was connected through, I've reviewed some Sennheiser earphones, and my contact at Sennheiser was like, hey, if you like these, you should check these other ones out.
They sell them in mall carts. Sorry.
Okay. So Urbanista, I would say, as a brand, kind of feels like, yes, it's a technology brand, but it's also a little bit of like a fashion or a lifestyle brand, let's say. And so they sent me the Urbanista Londons. And that's what I have right here. These are, true wireless earbuds. Noise cancellation. They have active noise cancellation on the inside. And these are $149. So for pricing for wireless earbuds, I put this kind of like in that middle category, right? Like, they're not in that low, like $50 to $75 price category, where you're making a lot of sacrifices in order to get, just to get that technology in your ears. They're not in that crazy $300 to $400 price category, of which the Sennheisers kind of fell into that category. This is like middle of the road price category for true wireless earbuds. And so I've definitely spent a good amount of time with these, and I can kind of run through real quick some of my thoughts. I think when you're talking about true wireless earbuds, the case is like the first and foremost that, it might seem like it's unimportant, but it's actually very important because you're interacting with them all the time. This has a nice soft touch to it, a very light magnet that actually keeps it snapped, and also a magnet that snaps the earbuds into place, but it's almost too light for my liking. I like them to snap right in there, so I know I'm never going to lose them. Slim enough to fit into the pocket. It's not big and bold, big and inconvenient when you throw it into your pocket. The case itself has 20 hours of charge in it on top of what the earbuds have, which I'll talk about that in a second. This case does support wireless charging. So if you've got a Qi charger, you can just throw this on your Qi charger and top it off. It takes about an hour and a half to fill up from 0 to full. But you can also do USB-C charging, which it has as well. As for the earphones themselves, think of this as like similar to the Apple AirPods Pro. They're the stem design, but the stem is a lot shorter. It actually doesn't here. I'll just switch over real quick and put them in my ear. It doesn't come down as far as some AirPods and AirPod lookalikes do. It kind of comes down. It's almost like it splits the difference. But it's a pretty comfortable earbud when it's in the ear. And like I said, Urbanista is kind of a style brand. They're more style oriented than a lot of other technology companies. So they've done a good job of kind of making this. It's not quite unibody, but it really feels like it's one single piece. And it's also got a little bit of that soft touch quality to it. And it kind of blends in. When I'm wearing these, I don't feel like they stick out nearly as much as some of the other earbuds that I've tried. IPX4 water resistance. So if you're using these for, like workouts and that sort of stuff, let's see if my camera can. Here, I'm trying to do two things at once there. If you want to use this for workouts, you're going to be fine. But if there's the possibility that they're going to be splashed on or anything like that, in the rain or whatever, you might want to think twice about that. The logo on both sides, this whole area is touch sensitive, so you can do some controls. Although there is so you can do tap controls, but I couldn't find any way to do like skipping of tracks, which is kind of a bummer, something that you probably want to do when you're out and about. And there's no app, there's no companion app. So basically what you get is baked into the earphones. And so you can't reprogram it to do something else. Let's see here, supports Bluetooth 5. AAC, SBC, Bluetooth codecs. It does not support aptX. But I did mention the active noise cancellation. And, for this price range, it's actually pretty nice to have noise cancellation in there. And I would say it does a pretty good job. Obviously I'm not flying in airplanes or anything like that, but often when I test noise cancellation at home, I put on some white noise and I just turn it up really loud and do some other like noise experiments to see how well it treats it. And it would reduce the noise in the room and give me more of insight into what I'm listening to. But when it does that, it also affects the sound a little bit. So you kind of get a hollowing out of the sound when noise cancellation is happening. And so I would say maybe on more expensive noise canceling headphones, you don't get that as much. So maybe that's a trade-off here. Battery wise, the earphones are rated for about 5 hours. And obviously that really depends on the sound level, on whether you're using active noise cancellation. I've been using these quite a bit and I never really found myself in a position where I'm like, that didn't last very long. I mean, they last as advertised and I'm rarely ever listening to wireless earbuds longer than 5 hours at a time. So I found the battery life to be true to form. And as far as sound quality, which is, really important when you're talking about earbuds, I would say that these are really great if you love low end. Very, very pronounced low end response. And that you get more of that if you're able to lock in a solid fit, which I was able to do pretty easily with these. Electronic music sounded really nice on the low end with these. But
I was going to ask Jason, what genres would you suggest to being the music maestro here?
Well, I mean, yeah, if I'm comparing the low end, I end up jumping to EDM and just throwing on a playlist and seeing, how immersive I feel when I'm listening. And these, I've definitely, experienced plenty of earbuds that I put them in my ears, and that low end, which you really want to hear in dance music, is kind of just flat and not as pronounced. And these accentuate. So you almost have to be okay with the fact that they overdo it to a certain degree. The mids and the highs, a bit less exciting by comparison, a little flat, not quite as alive as what you get in the low end. And again, there's no app, so there's no EQ that you can use to dial it in and kind of change the sound characteristics. But overall, they're $150. Urbanista London's. If you like that bass forward sound, if you want, a pretty decent noise cancellation in your true wireless earbuds for that price range, I think they're a pretty good fit. They also happen to be, like I said, kind of stylish. They don't just look like a piece of technology. They look a little bit more well crafted than that. So for $150, I think they're pretty good go. So that's the Urbanista Londons. And there you go.
Cool.
That's all I got. Yeah, it's a brand. Urbanista is a brand that I definitely want to kind of like explore a little bit more. What did you say, Flo? That you find them in malls? Is that what you said?
Mall carts. You know, like when you walk between the big stores and there's all the carts in the middle aisles and they're like, hey, come try this out.
Oh, okay. Urbanistas is one of those?
I think so. Or maybe I'm thinking of Skull Candy now.
Skull Candy, definitely.
That's Skull Candy,
yeah,
for sure.
Skull Candy,
that is
for
a
sure.
mall brand. Yeah.
No, but I mean, who knows? Maybe they are as well. I'm not really quite sure, but it's definitely a brand that's now on my radar, and I want to see what else. I
don't know. I haven't been to a mall since.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say,
down,
I don't know. I would have no point of comparison. Last time I went to a mall, I have no idea even how old I was. So,
Crazy.
So there you go. The Urbanista London's for $149.
All right. Well, nothing like a couple of good reviews to take us right into our next break. And we want to thank our next sponsor for sponsoring this episode of All About Android, our good friends at LastPass. Love LastPass. I've been a LastPass user for so many years. I love talking about them because, listen, companies face cybersecurity threats no matter where employees are working. Whether they're connecting from an office or from home, the risks of cyber attacks such as data loss and data breaches are something companies need to plan for and work to mitigate. A solid cybersecurity strategy is arguably more important while employees are working from home, given that more factors, from the Wi-Fi network to shared devices, may be outside the direct control of IT. That's why LastPass is so crucial to protecting your business. IT and security leaders can take back control of password security. They'll have the control they need from a central dashboard. Businesses can customize admin privileges, ensuring that any given admin has only the right level of access. No matter your organization's source of truth, LastPass integrates to onboard users, sync groups, and revoke access. Access to security scores and dark web monitoring to see real-time readouts of your business's password hygiene and provide alerts to employees when credentials may be at risk. For every employee, you can view their password scores, gain access to shared accounts, monitor group memberships, and more. LastPass's zero-knowledge security model protects everyone from the individual user to the biggest organization. They allow employees to go passwordless while giving them access to the tools they need to work. LastPass ensures complete security in the cloud with strong encryption algorithms, local-only encryption, multi-factor authentication, and the list goes on and on. IT leaders need to invest now in upgrading or adding security technologies that make remote work safer and more productive. LastPass is the best place to start. So don't wait till the end of the year to get strong security. Start solidifying your cybersecurity strategy with the award-winning LastPass today. Go to LastPass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. That's LastPass.com/twit. And we thank LastPass for protecting us and just being awesome and sponsoring this episode. Thanks, LastPass.
Thank you, LastPass. You are awesome, and we are awesome because of you. We don't have to roll the bumper. We've got one more hardware story that didn't factor into the reviews block.
It was multi-factor hardware authentication. No, all this talk this year, the past couple of years of foldables, and then these past couple of months we've been talking about rollables, and also we're talking about R&D groups and LG being experimental, but also then outsourcing their low to mid-range. Are they still going to be experimental, whatever? Meanwhile, Oppo is kind of rising to the top of experimental. They, in fact, so much so they're bringing a new foldable design that we haven't even seen yet. It's a foldable concept that is so beyond our perception. It blew me away. The Oppo X Nendo is a concept slide phone with 3 hinges, all on the X-axis. So it equates to 7 different form factors. And not only that, it includes a hidden stylus. So not only does it fold once, but it folds as 3 folds, which gives you 7 different ways to use your phone. It's bananas, and I love it, and I love the craziness. I love the out of the box thinking. If you think of all the different ways, in fact, we were looking. Those of you watching the video, Burke showed the graphic, but here there's a video showing of how the different ways it folds. This reminds me. Do you remember Jason? You'll probably remember because we're somewhat the same age. Do you remember those toys that were like a bunch of plastic triangles that you could fold in different axes and make different shapes out of them?
Yep.
Man, I remember those toys too.
That's what
they were in my generation.
Yeah, this reminds me of that. You can lay them all out flat and have it be super long. You can fold it in half. You can have a bottom third of it sticking out. Like, it is so flexible. And I don't mean that pun intended or unintended. It is so flexible. You can have so many different configurations, or at least 7 configurations. It's amazing. I love this phone. Love it.
Seven's 6 more configurations than my Pixel 4 has. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the little image of all 7 of those configurations laid out. And I'm like, what is the use case for each one of these? Like, I get the closed and I get the opened.
So they show you though. They showed you in the video. But yeah, so the first one on the left here is closed, right? Then the second one is a little peek to get a notification. Right.
All right.
The third one is a little more of a peek to do like either look at a clock or to look something more. Right. And then you open up even more and you've got like a phone, like an old kind of style handset phone. Right. And then the last one is complete extension. We saw a gaming example. We saw like playing like, the whole width of it for the controller and things like that, for, web browsing, for reading. The possibilities are endless. I love it.
Wow. Oppo coming out with the crazy ideas time after time, because this was the same brand that came out when foldables were first happening. We saw all the concepts where they were like, well, here's like 5 or 7 different foldable concepts that we're playing around, and that one of them like folded 3 different times and made like a Z and all sorts of different things. So
I don't know. I'm on board for this one. Give it to me. I want to review it. I want to play with it. I hope that it's like durable and like has that clicky noise when you do it. It just click like a transformer. I hope it does that.
Oh yeah. When you start opening it starts going.
Listen, we need our phones to be more flexible, and I mean that both in actual practical bending terms, but also in terms of I want to use it as a notepad. I want to use it as a phone. I want to use it as gaming. Like I love the flexibility of it. That's awesome. So.
Yeah, pretty neat. Keep it up. Keep smoking whatever it is you're smoking, Oppo, because we appreciate it.
What?
I don't know how they're coming up with this stuff, but they are. They've got something to their magic. All right, let's check out some apps. I could not remember if we already talked about this first one, but I put it in because the hands-on was interesting. But I did a search in the doc and I couldn't find it, so I don't think we've talked about this before.
Well, we didn't go hands-on with it, but 9 to 5 Google did. So we're going to talk about that hands-on of the AAWireless. AA stands for Android Auto, I'm assuming. Now, This is a dongle for the car that brings Android Auto wirelessly. Also a very hard word to say, apparently. Now, this is the result of a crowdfunding effort, which transpired back in September. Now, this dongle, it plugs into the car's USB port, if your car has one. And then when the car starts up, the dongle powers up, the phone connects to it, and the Android Auto UI takes over the car display, as it should, but over wireless connection. Now, this doesn't actually add Android Auto to your car, so you have to have it already built into the console in your car, but it does allow you to do this wirelessly, so you don't have to like get in the car, connect the phone, wait for it to turn on, and that whole mess. I know a lot of people are going to be really excited about this little dongle's existence. I know that Android Auto is supposed to be wireless anyway for folks. It's supposed to be over Bluetooth, but maybe this is something that'll be a little more stable than the Bluetooth situation. I got to tell you, I've been reading a lot of stories about folks complaining about the new wireless abilities of Android Auto, which I wouldn't really know a lot about because I'm still using the phone version. Because I still have the same car going on year 13.
It's funny because I've rented several cars in these past couple of months because I don't own a car and I've had to drive my family around and things like that. And I always try to play with whatever the in-dash system is and does it have Android Auto and whatnot. And I've used Android Auto plugged in as well as the wireless option. And I will say, like, the thing that gets me with the wireless option is the lag. Like when you do something on the screen, in the dash to change the song you're listening to or make an adjustment or do something like that, and you're waiting seconds for it to change, that's where it loses us, and so if this gives you kind of faster latency, then all the better. I don't know why you get angry by you'd want to use the best connection possible. This is it, then why not?
Yeah, it's true. Lag would totally kill that experience. That would tick me off. Yeah.
I have to say, Android Auto and CarPlay, like the fact that there are these two car UIs that exist that are universal across different brands, I think has been a good move for both Apple and Google. I know that they aren't like the best implementations. I don't know much about CarPlay, but I know Android Auto has its share of bugs and it's constantly an iteration. But it's nice to be able to like get into a rental car, plug in your phone, and just know that I can tap on that app and get this playlist. And Google Maps already has like the 10 places that I need to have bookmarked sort of thing. So that's kind of nice. I like that consolidation.
Yeah, nice to be able to get into a rental car that doesn't belong to you and suddenly, boom, on the screen, there's all of your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that too. The device itself it's a little nerdy. I mean, it's totally
not very consumer friendly. Okay, it's not something that, like, if you gave it to your mom without installing it for her, and she's not exactly the tech centric kind, she'd probably be like, "What is this, sonny boy?"
I mean, I love it. I love it for its nerdiness, but yes, it's not the kind of thing that everybody's going to want to proudly display on their dash.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Does it have an HDMI port? What is that at the bottom? Oh, that's the SD card at the bottom, right?
Yeah. That must be the SD card. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The USB-C port, and
it's USB-C. Yep.
Yep. Interesting.
I will have to admit that
It also has an NTSC and a PAL selector.
It's so weird.
Dear God, why, guys? We gotta stop putting. We already have way too many screens in our cars as it is.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm on the precipice of getting a car. Because we're going to be moving out to the suburbs, and I'm going to need that or whatever. And I got to tell you, I am just like overwhelmed and like completely frustrated at the shopping experience because I'm trying to find, the best car with the right amount of space, but also with like the best, in-dash system and the tech aspects of it and all that sort of thing. I don't want to get a car with a tiny little screen, Flo. I want a big screen, and I want to do cool stuff with it. Sorry, I wanted to do cool stuff with it. It's very daunting to try to browse, especially online, trying to find like it's a needle in a haystack where you're like looking for the best kind of car. But what is the best car with Android Auto? Like that's so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is that a deal breaker? Like if it doesn't have Android Auto, you don't want it?
Yes and no. I mean, I've whittled down to just like, I think between like a Subaru or a Toyota or a Ford or something like that. I think luckily it's at the point now where enough cars have Android Auto where it's not that much of a deal breaker. But we'll see what what wins out over, actually a lot of cargo room for two baby car seats or Android Auto. I think what will win there.
Yeah, what'll win in that case.
At the same time, I think you'll be able to find something with Android Auto because we've also been doing this like long, eventually we have to replace one of our cars, and so it's like I also said I would like to have Android Auto in the car, and I actually found out from my dealer, well, not from my dealer, but from the dealership of the manufacturer, that I can buy an aftermarket Android Auto. Like they finally have them now. It's been enough years since Android Auto came out that they have aftermarket for even the more like niche systems that exist out there. Whereas before it was, if you don't have the car with the exact slot, if you all know what I'm talking about, that you could just sort of like put in a unit, that you couldn't really get it. But now there's more available that are aftermarket. So that's also something I'm considering because it's literally a third of the cost of getting a new stereo system. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I should point out, Scooter X has been barking at us in chat to point out that this article does mention this is a prototype, that the final version will not look anything like this. It's still fun to poke fun at how nerdy it looks.
It's still pretty techy. I mean, come on, guys. It had a lot of ports on there. Those aren't ports you usually see in a car, okay? I'm just saying.
True, Scooter X. And thank you. Let's see here. Google mobile services, as you already know probably, if you watch this show for any length of time, do not come pre-installed on Huawei or Honor devices anymore, since, things got super political with Huawei and other manufacturers in China, like Honor. Coming to save those of you who might have a Huawei or Honor device that does not have any Google services on it, and you want to install those services on, which you can do, but it can be a little bit of a complicated, convoluted process. You might not know where to turn, that sort of stuff. Well, XDA wrote, or on the XDA forums rather, is something called Googlefier, which is an app that actually guides you through and helps install Google services in 5 different steps. So you install the app and then it's like a walkthrough. It's like, all right, now next, go here, or it might take you there and say install this or whatever, and it kind of guides you through the process. I don't know how long they said it takes, something like 10 minutes or whatever, to kind of go from no Google services on your Huawei device to everything you kind of want installed on there, to mimic the what it would be like if you bought it with Google already pre-installed. It takes you to the Play Store, so you can install the Google apps, once everything's kind of in place and everything. They do recommend that users start with a fresh system before using Googlefier, so you probably want to kind of wipe out your system and start from fresh. And there is an undo process as well to bring it back to a pre-GMS state if you wanted to do that. So that might make some folks' lives easier, because there are a lot of Huawei and Honor fans who would love to have Google services and Google apps on the device, even though it doesn't come pre-installed with those. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Love it. And a very XDA thing. That's like prime XDA stuff right there. All right, up next, we've got some viewer and listener feedback to get to. And if you want to contact us, you can always do so. AAA@twit.tv or 347-SHOW-AAA if you use this thing called a telephone, where you dial numbers and then you use your voice. You can do that. Ron, you've got the first one.
We are a show that is technically kind of about phones, partially. Yeah. It's cool. So this never-ending saga of Google Play Music and YouTube Music will never end, thanks to you, the community. And I love this feedback and these questions. It's great. Joe Ward writes in and says, I just listened to episode 502 and had a question about the Cloud Docs versus Cloud Music division. And for those of you listening, if you listen to episode 502, last week's episode, somebody called out why are Jason and I, and Flo to a certain degree, objecting to or choosing to have music locally versus the cloud when we gladly use Google Docs and other services in the cloud. So go back and listen to that conversation. It was interesting. So Joe says, in listening to the slow death of Google Play Music over the past year, was the final reason Ron and Jason switched from cloud music to Plex due to security or cost? Or is it more because YouTube Music it just makes it impossible for you to play music the way you want to, by album, artist, etc.? I would still be using Google Play Music to store my private collection and stream music, but not with how bad YouTube Music is. And Joe, I think you've hit the nail on the head of like an elephant in the room that we haven't really been touching upon, which is the YouTube Music experience and the frustration that comes with it, and the paradigm shift by moving our music over to it and having to adapt to the merging of YouTube and a streaming music platform and all the nuances with it. And you're right. I mean, if YouTube Music was a superstar hit of an app and made it fun to listen to our music and made it easy and solved all those problems that we might have, we're probably having a different conversation. But the app has to play a role in it, and it absolutely does. And even my latest example YouTube Music fun is that so as you know, I have two little ones that are running around, and one of them happens to be obsessed with Frozen, as kids often do. And so oftentimes tell the Google Assistant to play Let It Go or Do You Want to Be a Snowman or whatever, and in the moment when a kid is screaming, you just say, okay, G, play Let It Go. The number of times YouTube Music, it's literally a crapshoot of what language I get. Like we have heard the Italian version of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? We've heard the German version of Let It Go. We've heard so many different languages because they're all in there, and YouTube Music is not being smart enough to know, oh, this guy speaks English. Let me give him the English version. So it's at the point now
YouTube is trying to do language immersion.
Right.
No, it's not. Although I will say that the Italian version of Do You Want to Build a Snowman led us to saying "Okay, ciao" a lot instead of "Okay, bye." But no, but that's the thing is that so now we have to figure out the magic spell to get the song that we want when it should just play the song.
True,
You should know. So I don't know. It just it drives me crazy. And Plex just does the job. The Plex amp, that app. I will give the Plex app. I will give the Plex folks. I won't be completely 100% praising. Plex amp needs work. It's definitely an early app release. Some of the UI stuff is kind of wonky and how you get the stuff and things like that. But it's a lot easier to use than YouTube Music. So. That's just my opinion. Jason, what about you? Did the YouTube Music experience factor into your decision, or was it all about just the ownership aspect?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It factored in. I feel like we've kind of harped on the experience possibly more than anything else when we talk about the switch between Google Play Music and YouTube Music. So absolutely, that's a part of it. It's all of the above, and it was just for me. It was just kind of like that moment of realization where I'm like, oh, okay, so the app, sucks for me. In my opinion, it sucks. And there's all of this music that's hanging on the cloud that isn't convenient to get to anymore. And do I even really own this music anymore? Because I don't really have a copy of it on my own server. I should probably do that. It was just like a combination of everything at that moment, which finally led me to do the hard work. And by the way, I'm still doing that as far as photos are concerned. That's a much bigger challenge, I would say, compared to my music library. But to finally do the hard work that I've been putting off for a long time, it was just kind of like the reason to do it, right? I know I'm not going to use YouTube Music. I just don't care for it. It's not made for me, and I've come to accept that. Maybe there will be a time down the line where Google makes so many changes that I check it out again, and I'm like, whoa, my music is integrated in search again, or whoa, when I search for through my personal library of music and scroll through artists, it doesn't load them 10 at a time and then give me the swirling ball, while it loads more of them. Like I can do it the way I used to be able to. Like if they address all those issues, I'm totally open to checking it out again. I still want to have my music at home on my server just so that I know that I have it, like that I'm not relying 100% on a third party for that stuff. So it's both. Right. Thank you, Joe, for writing in. Appreciate it. Frank Pang wrote in with a very simple question. Can I use USB-C hub on Google Pixel 4a? I happen to have a hub, although I can't really show it because it's plugged into my Mac right now in order to bring you my video and my audio, basically, and bring internet into my computer. But Frank, I pulled out my Pixel 4a. I plugged the USB hub that I do have into it, and I tried a few things. And here's what I found out. The dongle is powered by the 4a. So when I plug the dongle into the 4a, I get the little green light on the dongle that says that it's getting power. So that's probably the easy part. I was able to plug my headphone into the dongle and hear audio coming from the phone. So headphone audio, it was passed through the dongle, through the headphone port. Otherwise, nothing else worked. So, I tried HDMI out. So it has a couple of different HDMI out ports on my dongle or hub, whatever you want to call it. I tried sending video out from the phone through the HDMI into my monitor. That didn't work. It just did nothing. I tried, I inserted an SD card in there to see if I could do, attach an external drive via an SD card through the hub. That didn't work. So sort of, I guess was the answer in this case. And I don't know if it's that way with every hub or every dongle that you find. Maybe there's some that are made to work better with it than others. Burke, you mentioned in an email that video. Well, you were saying that video through a hub on the Pixel devices just doesn't seem to work in your experience, right? I don't know if you're on a mic right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been looking for a way to get a wired connection out of a Pixel phone. Never found one yet. I don't think they're actually capable of it through the USB-C jack.
I don't think so
intentionally.
Either.
Yeah,
totally. So I think the answer, and then I was kind of curious, like, oh, well, is this not possible on the Pixel 4a, but it is possible on the, the higher end Pixels, and I think it's just like the Pixel lineup, they don't do that. So
yeah, actually, because if you plug that hub into a Samsung, I bet you everything would work.
Oh,
and
I know it will.
Yeah.
It guaranteed it will, because it has what is the DeX. That's like what DeX is designed for, is for me to take that hub with an HDMI out. And, they made the change, I think it was like a year and a half ago, where you could take any HDMI USB-C hub and plug it in to the Samsung device and then just throw it into a monitor and boom, you got DeX up on a monitor.
You can actually take that Samsung device and plug it directly into a USB-C monitor and it will work. It will run the monitor. I've seen it happen.
Oh, okay.
It works.
Yeah. Burke's seen it, all right? He's seen it with his own eyes.
He's seen some things.
He's seen things. So, Frank, hope that's helpful to you. I don't know if that's going to sway you in one direction or the other, but there's the answer you were looking for. And we appreciate you writing in. And now, Flo, I'll give you the honor.
And now, let us roll the drums for the email of the week.
Oh, I like what you did. You usually I say the email of the week and then they come afterwards. But you like made way for it and then followed it up. That was an interesting switch you did. Yeah. That's your style.
It was my last appearance before the end of the year, so gotta
You gotta impress.
Thank you, Burke. Thank you. All right. So this one comes in from Daniel, and I think it's a really great question that some of you might have out there. On AAA episode 502, you talked about services that Google has killed off. The most recent that comes to mind for me is the Nest Secure security system. I guess they are still supporting it at the moment, but it cannot be purchased any longer. This means it's only time before it's truly killed. What do you guys recommend as a replacement? Now, I have to say, this is actually my beat at Tom's Guide. I've been covering DIY security systems for about 3 years now, so I'm pretty familiar with what's on the market. I'm still using the Nest Secure until they completely kill it. Google has said that it's going to support folks. I was reading through the support page, and apparently they're still going to be selling some of the accessories. So if you need like a motion sensor, I believe that's called a Nest Detect. You can still buy those. I think they're $35 a piece or something like that. So you can still kind of buy accessories, but the actual Nest Guard, the little hockey puck-shaped number pad security system, the one with the alarm built in, that's going to be discontinued. It's no longer available. Neither is the full kit. The kit used to come with the Nest Guard, the 2 motion sensors, and the 2 key fobs. So that's no longer available. If you are looking for a DIY security system, you can go to my guide over at tomsguide.com. Just search for Best DIY Security System 2020, and you'll see my name on the byline. We've been updating this list for a couple years now. The Abode Essential Starter Kit, that remains my favorite. It's a couple years old now, but it's got the one antenna that you need to do smart stuff if you need it. It's also super reliable, and I found it to be one of the most cost conscious. So if you don't want to pay a ton of money, I know it's kind of hard if you have like Nest security cameras around the house, because those are going to cost you anyway for the Nest to wear. But if you don't want to pay much more money and you want to actually get an alarm system that calls, dispatches to local law enforcement, then you can buy that through Abode. They also have the Abode IOTA, by the way, which it has like a built-in security camera. I was not too keen on that one. Just going to put that out there. The Simply Safe Essentials Kit is the next one that I would suggest. Also a ton of smart home integration, and that's super reliable. Lots of, it has Amazon integration, Google Assistant integration. It doesn't have geofencing though, which is something that Nest products are known for. So if that's something that you rely on, maybe think about the Abode, if I recall correctly. You can let me know if I'm wrong about that too, because a lot of stuff to keep in mind here. But as far as the just security system goes, those are my favorite. The Abode Essentials and the Simply Safe Essentials. You can purchase, all the extra accessories that you need, add it to cart. And I also found those two to be the most price conscious in the subscription for home monitoring. So something to consider there. But again, it is a bummer when Google kills these things, especially because they were selling us on an ecosystem, which I totally bought into as well. That's why I held on to the Nest Secure, even though it's, as you can see from that list that I did for Tom's, it's not the best and it's not the most price conscious, but I stuck with it because I have everything else Nest and Google in the house. This is the point where we kind of start to grumble a little bit, and Killed by Google really has a lot of validation in that sense. Mm-hmm. So, Daniel, I hope good luck on your security findings. You can always write us in, let me know how you're doing, or tweet at me. I can help you out. So good luck on that. And that was our Wall of the Week.
Thank you, Daniel. Every time I look at Abode, I see Adobe. And like when I first saw it in the doc, I was like, wait a minute, Adobe's making security equipment?
Yeah. Whenever I write their reviews, I always like mess that up. My editor is like, you messed it up. I'm like, sorry. So
easy.
But
I
it's
think
Abode, like your
understand.
humble abode.
Right. All right. Cool. That is it. We've reached the end of this episode of All About Android. Great episode it's been. It's been a lot of fun. Flo, what do you want to leave people with?
Hey, I'm just kind of buttoning up work here, but I'm still got some stuff coming out this year. So I'll be doing, there's a podcast appearance I've got coming up on a podcast I'm not usually on. Just pay attention to my Twitter feed for that. I've got another keyboard guide coming maybe before the end of the year. We'll see. It depends on the whole editing. So there's a lot of stuff I'm still working on over here. But if you want to find out where I'm at, you can always follow me at florenceion.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at OThatFlow. I also just recently joined TikTok, God help me, because I'm trying to connect with the youths. So if you're on TikTok, I'm at the same
Good luck with that.
It's been nice knowing you, Flo.
You're creating dances, aren't you?
I've already tossed out 3 drafts because I'm overthinking everything I'm doing. Like I'm really trying to connect with the youths. So youths, if you want to reach out to me, let me know how to connect.
Oh, they're called youths, by the way.
Youths.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know how many youths are listening or watching to this show.
I will say I posted just one TikTok, like way more engagement than I've ever gotten on Instagram or Snapchat. So
yeah, I saw your tweet on that, and somebody replied probably with the reason why they probably boost like visibility of early posts to get that, so that you come back and you post more. You know what I mean? Who knows how they do things behind the scenes, but
don't worry, guys. I have a 10-minute timer on the app per day.
Excellent. Thank you, Flo. Ron, what about you? What you want to talk about?
Not nearly as interesting. Just go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RonXO. Head over to scorbit.io to check out, that's scorbit.io to check out my fun pinball side project that we're doing. Download the app on Google Play. Check it out. But yeah, just getting ready to ease into the holidays here. So I'm glad that we've got this one last 2020 time with the 3 of us together. It's been fun. And we'll regroup in 2021, all 3 of us. And Flo, Jason, and I will give you a toast on December 29th. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. Cool. Thank you, Ron. Also, big thanks to Victor working behind the scenes in the chat room. Going to be doing some editing here very soon, so appreciate that. And thank you to Burke for pushing the buttons and being in the studio to make this all happen and sharing your insight on today's episode. It's good to have you on.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Let's see here. I'm just, doing twit things. So twit.tv/HOA for hands on Android. This week's episode, I'm just doing like a roundup of some of my favorite apps that are on my phone. Like, hey, what are the apps that I consider that I make sure are installed on my device when I set up a new device, and why? And so I'm going to dive into that. So twit.tv/HOA to check that out. Wow, there's a bunch of links down here. Did you do that, Brooke? There's like
yes, I did, because I can't click when you have more than two in the cell. I can't click on them.
Oh, that's true. You can. Okay, I'll clean that up for you. Thank you for putting those down there. AAA shirts. If you want some all about Android shirts, you can go to twit.tv/store and find them there. That'll link you right to our place on the web where we sell, all different types of Twit show merchandise, basically. So you can find some masks and shirts and stuff. And other than that, I'm just going to call it right there. Don't forget, wear a mask. Continue wearing a mask, please. Really appreciate when you do that, because you're saving everybody's life, including your own, potentially. So thank you for that. And that is it for this week. Next week, we are going to have our best of episode. So have a wonderful and happy holiday. And hopefully it's super restful and enjoyable. And then, like Ron said, Ron and I will be back the following week with Mateo. Flo will be out, and then all three of us back early next year. Twit.tv/AAA is where you can go to subscribe. So please do that. Also jump out to YouTube, subscribe there. We don't care, just as long as you do. And we'll see you next time on All About Android. Have a great night. See you all. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Want more Twit? Check out Tech News Weekly, twit.tv/TNW. Tech News Weekly is a show where Jason Howell and I bring the latest and greatest interviews to you from the people making and breaking the tech news. twit.tv/TNW.